Good afternoon. Okay, I think everybody can hear me. Yeah. My name is Tom de Bakker. I'm a pre-sales engineer at Varonis. And today the topic is, I think, something that is a very hot topic in the recent few months, is how we will protect your data when it comes to integrating Copilot. Just to start a short introduction for people who are not aware what Varonis is doing or what our main business is. So Varonis is, to say it in a short way, is a platform that is focused on protecting your data. Everything is data-centered. Why? Because it's, of course, the most valuable assets you have. You can have very good firewalls or any other defense mechanisms, but at the end, nobody really cares if there's a breach in your firewall. It's just an annoyance. But what is really important for you and your business is, of course, that your data is safe. This is also what all the attackers are after. So that's why we will always focus on your data, protecting your data, creating visibility, ensuring that there is you know about the risks and help you mitigating these risks and avoid any breaches towards your important assets. In short, how we do this, we have three important pillars we use to assure the safety of your data. And I think one of the most important ones is first to create the real-time visibility. What this means is quite literally, we should first know where is my data, my sensitive data, the data I care about the most, where is it located, and how is it exposed to the outside world? How is it also exposed internally? Where are the risks? And we will help you to get this visibility. We use classification. We will give you up-to-date overview of where the risks are and where the overexposed data is. And we'll help you mitigate this to ensure that the risk is reduced greatly. The second important step is, of course, getting just a few more things automated, especially now for quite a while in the M365 days. Users have a lot more options to share data. In a SharePoint environment, it's possible to even control some groups, some permissions. Before, this was all managed by IT. So it's, of course, very important that we can have automations in place that will continuously and automated way mitigate these risks. And then lastly, we will do also proactive detection. This means that we will capture every event, every touch on a file, every access to a file will be captured. And based on that, we do behavior analysis and make sure you have you are aware and alerts are generated when there is a potential breach or risky behavior detected. So yeah, how do we create this visibility? Here again, first I just mentioned that we are complete. We will always capture all events on the monitored resources. Every time somebody opens something in a file in OneDrive, this will be an event. Of course, normally we will have about 1 million events a day. That's quite a normal figure. This is a lot to manage. That's why we will have machine learning in the back, creating the necessary context, just to ensure that you are alerted of the real risks. And if needed, you have the complete overview if you want to go deeper in your investigation. And lastly, it's current. We are not an audit tool you run one time. We will continuously update it. We have real-time events to ensure that your environment and your data is kept safe all the time. Now, moving on, so I briefly touched it already. So with M365, there's a lot more control given to the end user. And then I think now with Copilot on the horizon, and I think many companies, it's of course a great new asset. Productivity increase is estimated to be very high. But again, here I think there are some security concerns we have to take into account. Why is that? Well, basically, we have our sources here on the left. The, uh, Copilot will use these sources to get its data, and everything will be processed in the big circle in the middle, so it's an LLM. We know it's not easy to control that, and even more, the output is very hard to control. So that's why we will need to focus on the input. We need to be in control what is actually fed to Copilot, and at the end, what the end user will be able to access. Yeah. I think this is a concern. I hear this a lot of my customers and everyone who is now testing Copilot. There are indeed some reservation about security and privacy this brings along. Just to give you some examples there, you can ask just Copilot, okay, do you have any credentials for me? What this means, it will actually, if somewhere on your file servers, on your M365 environment, somebody put a file with passwords inside, before, okay, that's not okay that anyone can access that file, but it will take some time before you find this information. With Copilot, you can just ask it. This means that if you have a file that is exposed to everyone in the organization, which is happening a lot, if you're not really paying attention, and this means that any attacker that can have access to a non-privileged user account can just ask Copilot, give me all the interesting data I want. So a lot less time is needed to extract or exfiltrate this data from your environment. Yeah, same goes for API access. Yeah, this test we have done. So even if, okay, it's very interesting to have, of course, all the API keys to further exploit actually or gain access to more sensitive data. So you cannot just ask Copilot and it will be mentioned. Second concern may be, for example, here, a user is asking, okay, I want to know what are the new who are the new employees. Maybe I want to give them some kind of present, and before they know, yeah, Copilot will give you salary information and even more. And yeah, maybe the user gets interested. Oh, okay, I can ask a lot of things. I didn't get a bonus this year. Which of my colleagues did get one? And it will actually just give you the answer if there is somewhere a file exposed to or accessible by this user. Yeah, but yeah, this is indeed where the information or where the real risk is. So basically, M3 Copilot will source its information based on, okay, I can access this file on OneDrive, on SharePoint, on an Exchange, and there is where I will base my answers on. So yeah, I think the main goal here is, or the main risk, the main challenge is to ensure that your permissions are in order. We can mitigate the risks and just prevent access to your sensitive data towards users who shouldn't have access there. And these are figures from Microsoft. And we see that there's really a lot of files that are overexposed, of a lot of sensitive files overexposed. And this is something that is advised also by Microsoft, still they say on the site, so it's a challenge that and maybe something, and maybe really a prerequisite before implementing Copilot, please get your permissions in order, or you might expose data you don't want there. Now, so let's just skip this one. So this is also why we have our partnership with Microsoft. Microsoft is not really focused on what we're doing on this level. So we made a partnership just to support each other, and we can develop a lot faster with the newest adoptions within Copilot, just to ensure that we can protect you from this. So in summary, what do we need to solve? Yeah, basically employees that have too much access to data, permissions we have to solve. The sensitive data is mislabeled. There is classification possible in M365. However, we are already doing this for 15 years now. So our classifications is a lot more accurate because yeah, it's very important to have this right. If your classification is too strict, users will be unhappy. If it's too relaxed, we have again these security risks. Yeah, so it will basically give a lot of easy access to insiders, not only insider threats, but also external attackers who will have an easy time to get privilege escalation, get secrets, and so on. So yeah, what we need to do is really have a good look at our permissions and ensuring that they are in order and work according to the least privilege model all the time. And then additionally, the problem only gets worse at the end. The Copilot allows users to quickly generate new documents, new data. So yeah, it's important to monitor this continuously all the time. Yeah. Then of course we have the labeling of Microsoft. That's something we will integrate with. What this means is that we are classification bugs on the background. This is not we don't change any files. However, we can plug in with Microsoft to fix these labels. For example, a user doesn't really isn't really aware this file they're using or sharing contains GDPR data, for example. So yeah, it's not always possible to rely on the users. We can automatically apply or correct this label. This is certainly important in a Copilot context. Why? Because labels are one of the main ways to prevent Copilot for indexing the data in that file. So again, here we work together with Microsoft. We will use our classification engine to fix what is mislabeled and just to ensure that, again, here Copilot cannot access it in the first place. All right. So what we will do is more concretely, I will show you a little demo if the demo gods are not against me today. So we will actually monitor the activity. We will be able to show you which files are being accessed through questions asked to Copilot. We will show you, of course, also where this data is coming from, where the permissions are coming from, and how to mitigate them. We will also alert on suspicious activity. If there is somebody is exploiting Copilot with a breach account, for example, to get all the secrets, there will be a lot of queries in a short time, a short period. Maybe we also take into account the geolocation and so on. So we have all these activities monitored. If we see, okay, this user is not using Copilot in a predictable way, we will alert on this as well. All right. Let's just see if I can show you a bit more. So basically, this is for an example where we can see easily which files have been used to query or were actually referenced by Copilot. It's very hard to look at the same time. See, yeah. So you will have an overview. Okay, this is sensitive data. We have the classification here. We have GDPR data, so we know this is something maybe Copilot shouldn't have accessed there, so it can give a full overview. Additionally, let me go here. So another good example. For example, here we see that we have added here the logo of Copilot. Why? It's important. We have sites exposure. We have, for example, organizational-wide data that's being accessible. And in orange, you will see which data is sensitive. So this is, of course, the thing we care about. We also see the collaboration links here. So we will see, okay, we have data shared anyone on the internet with an anonymous link. We have also shared the information about what is shared, for example, within the organization. And these are, of course, the things we need to tackle. So if you look here, you can see this one is maybe like this. This is sensitive data. So here you will immediately see, okay, this data is overexposed. And this is a bit our context we then give. We will immediately have the overview. We see everything, what is the reason why it is overexposed. Yeah, we have the anonymous login coupled here because it's also shared with everyone. But some things are maybe something that is a bit more tricky is sometimes somebody by accident added everyone to a group here. So here you can also immediately identify that everyone has been added to the HR members group by someone. We can even go so far with that you can then go further and go deeper if you need to. You can see, based on the events we captured from Entra ID, you can see who made that change and so on. Okay. Now, I just also talked about policies or automation policies. I think this can be a very valuable asset as well, just to save you time. One that is very much used is this one. So yeah, of course, it's the business would like to share documents with external people, with anonymous people, over through a shared link. I mean, so yeah, we can block it. That's the way, but we can also allow it. And what we can do is, for example, here say, okay, if you can share what you want, but if we identify this is a sensitive document, in that scenario, we will automatically remove the link. The same goes for Copilot. If it's shared with the whole organization, it's sensitive data. You can make sure that this automatically this permission will be removed. It's also possible, of course, to say, okay, I want first an approval flow. We will not always blindly delete your permissions. So it's possible to have first being asked for an agreement to, is it okay that I delete this? That's all perfectly possible. Additionally, I think a more proactive approach we have is you can assign data owners to, for example, the HR folder. We identify like, okay, these people are also using this folder the most. That's something we will have as well from our event. And then at the end, we can say, okay, we assign these people to as data owner. We send them automatically every month, every quarter report. Look at the sensitive data. Is this okay, yes or no? We can upload this document back and the permissions will be fixed automatically. So again, here the main goal is not only to have the initial snapshot and the visibility, but more importantly, it's for us very important to have this maintained all the time, because changes are very fast, of course. So time. So just one last thing about the alerting. So as I mentioned, we use machine learning to analyze the millions of events we capture. Here again, the main goal is to ensure that you are alerted up front if something is happening. For example, this one, but maybe a good example. So there will be, we identified that there is a service account. Also automatically we identify these. Normally they only access a certain data set from a certain machine. If there are, if there is abnormal behavior, for example, it's touching data it normally doesn't touch, like in this example. So we have 100% of the data accessed first time by a backup service. This may be something that is suspicious. We also give the insights, of course, about the devices that were involved. So we also see the related alerts, or if it's a notebook, for example, that's very strange. A service account is log into that. And from here, this will give a good overview, but you can always go deeper. I think this will just be one. But every event you can see in all detail. You can then also search for this backup service account. All the things that this account touched in the past week, in the past month, and on all the platforms we monitor, so Web 365 or on-premise file servers, we will exactly also know what has been done or what this account has touched. If it's compromised, it might be a very important thing to know, of course. Okay. Let's go back. So to conclude our action plan, how we see this. First, of course, deploy Varonis. We will start with initial scans. That takes, we include classification. Yeah, normally this is about in 3 days we have everything scanned and classified. Then we will use labeling if this is used by your organization and fix these. And then, of course, we will start looking at the remediation of high risk exposures, about the permissions that can be fixed easily. We also take into account stale data. Maybe some data is not used for 6 months. Maybe we shouldn't spend a lot of time to it and just archive it with less permissions. Then we will have a look at the access. Is all the access to the critical data, is this normal access we expect? And of course, using the labeling of Microsoft, we optimize. You can use this in the DLP solutions at the end. So at the end, what we're going for is that that we will then, after the deployment is in the initial analysis is complete, that we will of course continuously monitor what's going on, and if there are new risks surfacing, we can address them right away. Okay, so just to conclude, so we offer always a free of charge data risk assessment. We can set this up quite fast. We just need one VM, and we can do this for you without any commitment that's required, any cost. What you will get is the full visibility, the full overview from this assessment. And then you can take it from there. It's of course a snapshot in that scenario, which can, if you are would like to continue, then you're also good to go there. So that's something we can arrange very easily. And then of course, this is a bit where we're all going for. If somebody asks that question, it's important. This should appear as an answer of Copilot. That's it for me. Thank you for your time. So our booth is just across. If you want more information, we will be here today and tomorrow. You're all welcome for a coffee or a drink.